is an extremely auspicious moment if it's alive. And it is actually the full moon, so that's very auspicious, and it's I think the idea originated when Trungpa Rinpoche, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, the Jado, passed away. And so we have here a place where some of his relics are. And the idea of having it in this place came from His Holiness Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, who was one of the greatest teachers of our time, one of Trungpa Rinpoche's teachers, one of Khenpo Sitting Gyamtso's teachers, in fact, all my teachers' teachers. So, and he told us to come to this part of the world. So many of you will have heard this story before, but he did actually select Northwest Wales, the whole area around Anglesey, including Bardsey Island and Snowdonia and right up to Lake Bala. So it seems very auspicious that actually now we have this place. He said come here and to make a place, and he would come and bless it. So we have his, in some ways sadly, his relics, but it's very much that sense of his presence here. It was his vision that we should do it here and that there be a mountain here. And of course, if you look over the shoulder of the stupa, when Snowdon feels like it, you get to see it. So Snowdon's been rather shy this week. It's such, it's choosing its moment to reveal itself. So this is a very auspicious place, and of course this has all been a sacred place, this part of the world, with the pilgrimage places going from Holywell right along northwest Wales to the end of the peninsula to Bardsey, and there's lots of places, pilgrimage places, and it's still, people still do pilgrimage in this area, and there's many places that are considered very sacred. There's the Celtic saints had sacred places, but they were already built where there were wells and cromlechs and things which were already regarded as sacred. So it seems really in keeping to be creating a sacred space here by constructing the stupa. And in fact, it's not just us that's who are focused on this event today. There are Awakened Heart Sangha members sort of all over the world. Some have even come, one from America, one from Luxembourg. I mean, people have come a long way. And I know of people who can't come, who are devoting their whole day to really vigorous practice and frustrations and making prayers and so on, because it is such a special day. And in a way, you could have to say it's a historic day, because this is the day that the stupa is fully inaugurated. And we're expecting at about 10:30 or 11, any time now, for Vigzin Shikpo to come. So Vigzin Shikpo is one of my teachers. He's also my husband, as it happens. So he will be arriving at some point and will join us. Yes, it's a very special place. I think the Welsh people themselves think of themselves as almost like a chosen people, like they have a special mission, and it feels very good that there are Welsh people, not many yet, but there are Welsh people who are rejoicing in what we're doing and feel that it is very special, and they seem to have a natural sense of, this is some sense of what this is all about, so that I'm quite hopeful that it will actually be well received and be a huge benefit to not only to this region, but then obviously expanding out there to wherever news of it reaches. That some sense of people will feel uplifted at the very idea that this stupa is here. And so I suppose this is the moment to say a few words about what is a stupa. Many of you here have already been involved in the construction of it and have got quite a good idea. We had lots of people rolling mantras and a lot of contributions towards the stupa, financial and even things that have been put into the stupa, and at every stage. So it's been very much a group effort. Lots of people have been involved, which is always a very good sign when you're putting up a stupa. There's a lot of connections with lots of people, and it represents something that's coming from the hearts of many people. So, what is a stupa? You could say fundamentally it's that dimensionless point, which from the point of view of the manifest world, what is dimensionless is too small even to be represented. And yet, if you approach that point, actually, since it has no dimensions, it's actually without any limit. It actually represents what is the totality that has no boundaries. It is so that the whole sense of approaching the sacred place is approaching the sacred that is actually beyond limit, without limit, which can't be represented, can it? So how do you represent it? Well, the way we represent everything by forming some kind of representation or symbol of it. So this very spot is now consecrated as representing that which we're all aspiring to, we're what we all are in essence, actually. And when we think of what we are in essence, we think of what we are in our heart. So it's like represents the heart in a sense that's beyond just the personal, and yet it is the heart, so you can't really call it impersonal either. It's just somewhere between where you can't define it. And it's quite interesting. I've been very affected to see how, even though in a way it's something that we can only sense and see, something that we think of as physical, and yet people are responding from their heart. They know it's about the heart. So the whole symbolism of it represents that, and that upward movement into the non-determined, the totality of the space of reality, really. So it's all taking us up. It's taking us up. The whole structure is taking us up to that point on the top. And under the point there is the sun and the moon, which is the wisdom and compassion of the awakened heart. So that's the lower parts of the stupa are representing the path up and the qualities of the path up to the above the vase part. There's the place where you'd have to say the supramundane levels start to reach up through the discs that make the spire up to the top, and then at the top itself you've got the sun and wisdom, the sun and the moon of wisdom and compassion, and then you've got a crown and, if you like, a kind of umbrella or something coming down again into the world. It's radiating out into the world peace and goodness and whatever is needed for the welfare of beings, and in particular the rain of Dharma. The rain of blessing and Dharma to satisfy the wishes of all beings and to draw them to awakening. So that's what the whole structure is about. And there's a tremendous amount of detail. You could ask about any part of it, and you could be told even more teaching about what it represents. But I don't want to take up too much time because you've got quite a lot more we've got quite a lot more to get through. But it's not just the outer form, though, and this is the point that the lamas the Lama Ponsok is making again and again, that the form itself has a tremendous amount of symbolic meaning, but that's the outer part that you see. But the inner part is especially consecrated, and this is what we've been watching over the days that the Lama and the monks have been here. And it starts with the ceremonies that he did, it seems ages ago now, but it's only a matter of days, in the throne part, before the steps that go up. that lower part, the white part, is the throne that's on which the stupa itself is being held up, and that lower part is filled with these vases that represent richness and wealth and treasure and everything that we need to accumulate to create a situation through our generosity and through our practice of spiritual discipline and following the path. We build up a place in which it's possible for the Dharma to be received, the teachings to be received and understood and protected. So that whole part is laying the foundation. And then, so that was very interesting watching those elaborate rituals, invoking into the throne even the power of protection, and the mantras to represent that. And well, we've got loads of pictures and we can probably provide lots of explanations, but I'll hurry on. And then above that, where the steps are, you've got two mandalas. And that was really quite, for me, very surprisingly moving and powerful. That the lower mandala is the mandala of Vairochana and the 5 Buddhas. I don't know if you know about the 5 Buddha families, but Vairochana represents limitless light. And especially if you notice on Buddha images, there's always this sort of mound, which actually is a representation of this limitless light that emanates from the crown of the head, and that ultimately each being, actually, that is the essence of what they are, this light that radiates out, and is what we're following the path in order for that to reveal itself. So this idea of this, what can you call it, pinnacle or pile of light on the crown of the head is also represented in the form of the stupa. You could think of it, the lower part is sitting, the legs sitting, and then the vase part of the body, and then sometimes you get eyes on the little square bit, and then you get above that you get the spire, which is represents that spire of light. And there are Mahayana sutras about the Buddha when he was manifesting this light from the crown of his head, and then the teachings associated with that. So there's a whole mandala based on that, and that's invoked into the stupa, so that the Lama was saying the space inside the stupa is limitless, which is rather, I find, really powerful way to think. And then above it again there's another mandala of the Buddha Vimala Prabha, again stainless light, and that's Shakyamuni the Buddha. You may think, well, where's Shakyamuni Buddha in all this? Where's the Buddha who was enlightened at Bodh Gaya? He's right there in the heart of that mandala that's just below the vase part. And then as those mandalas are completed and invoked, we had great fun filling them with little stupas, little satars. So it's very much the idea of the microcosm and the macrocosm of worlds within worlds within worlds, like points within points within points, like stupas within stupas within stupas. Sort of, it's just too vast and amazing to even conceive of. But we have a representation of these little clay tata, which are they represent the mind, if you like, the heart and mind of the Buddha. So the whole stupa represents the heart and mind of the Buddha. And each little stupa does, and each little stupa you see anywhere does. So they're all of the same form, they're all interpenetrating. It's like you worship one, you're worshipping them all. So you're getting nearer and nearer to the kind of real essence of the qualities that can radiate forth from the power of the awakened mind, the awakened heart, that it does have that power from its own side, and we have that power in us because we're no different, our true nature is no different, and therefore if we have something that we can relate to that is reflecting that back to us, then that awakens that in us. So that whole sense that is going on is there in the vase.